Hello and welcome to In Depth. I'm Tina Jha. In a historical move, the BJP-led NDA government on Monday nullified Article 370 of the Constitution that grants special status to Jammu and Kashmir. Home Minister Amit Shah moved a resolution in Rajya Sabha stating that all clauses of Article 370 will now no longer be applicable in the state. The Home Minister also informed that President Ramnath Kovind has signed the official notification that abrogates Article 370. Amit Shah also moved a separate bill to bifurcate the state into two union territories, one of Jammu and Kashmir and the other Ladakh. Today in Depth, we take a look at the sequence of events that led to this unprecedented and significant move by the government, the implications of ending Article 370 for Jammu and Kashmir, how it changes the administrative setup of the state and what it means for its people. So Jammu and Kashmir will now no longer enjoy its special status, and all provisions of the Indian Constitution will be applicable to the state from now on. The government has proposed Jammu and Kashmir as a union territory with legislature and Ladakh as a separate union territory without legislature. 5th August 2019, a significant date for India as well as Jammu and Kashmir. A day on which President Ramnath Kovind promulgated the Constitution Application to Jammu and Kashmir Order 2019. That states that provisions of the Indian Constitution will be applicable to Jammu and Kashmir. The order, which came into force immediately, supersedes the Constitution Application to Jammu and Kashmir Order 1954. For this purpose, a clause 4 has been added to Article 367, introducing 4 changes. In effect, it states that any further reference to the Constitution of Jammu and Kashmir will be construed as reference to the Indian Constitution. References to the Sadr-e Riyasat of Jammu and Kashmir will be construed as references to the Governor of Jammu and Kashmir. References to the Jammu and Kashmir government will mean the Governor of Jammu and Kashmir acting on the advice of his Council of Ministers. The expression Constituent Assembly of the State shall read Legislative Assembly of the State.
Now 370, as per the government, stands abolished, and 35A also stands abolished, in the sense that under 370 clause 1, the President has abolished 370, giving special autonomous status to the state of Jammu and Kashmir.
The abrogation of Article 370 that granted Jammu and Kashmir a special autonomous status will now mean that constitutional provisions applicable to other Indian states will also apply to Jammu and Kashmir. Under Article 370, the central government needed the state government's concurrence to apply laws, except in defence, foreign affairs, finance and communications. It provided for a separate set of laws for the people of Jammu and Kashmir, including those related to citizenship, ownership of property and fundamental rights as compared to other Indians. As a result of this provision, Indian citizens from other states were not allowed to purchase land or property in Jammu and Kashmir. Further, the centre had no power to declare financial emergency under Article 360 except in cases of war or external aggression. Besides, Jammu and Kashmir was the only state in India to have its own constitution and its own flag.
Article 370 is a temporary but special status provision given to the Jammu and Kashmir state. When Raja Hari Singh agreed to accede to India, Muhammad Abdullah and Sheikh Abdullah and Nehru later in 1949 agreed to give a special status to Jammu and Kashmir, and Article 370 was inserted. The special status that it gives is that except 4 subjects, that is defense, communications, external affairs and finance, On all other subjects, the government of India has to consult the Jammu and Kashmir Legislative Assembly to pass a law. They have to agree to pass a law. Jammu and Kashmir has a separate constitution, and the Constitution of India provisions do not automatically apply there. So that was the special status given, but it was a temporary provision, so to say, which was given.
The revocation of Article 370 means citizens across India will have just one citizenship prevalent in all states of the country. People from anywhere in India will be able to buy property and permanently settle in Jammu and Kashmir. The fundamental rights of the people of Jammu and Kashmir will be the same as enjoyed by citizens of other states in the country. The state will be governed by laws applicable to the rest of the country.
So, by declaring it as a union territory, the government retaining the control of internal security as well as external security would be in a better position to combat terrorism. And bringing out the youth of Jammu and Kashmir to the mainstream, so they have better chances of growth and success. At the end of the day, terrorism is not about religion, it is not about caste, color, creed, it's about money and finances and sheer economy. And that is why terrorists do not want the economy of a state to grow. By helping the economy of a state to grow, you would be helping the Kashmiri youth and the Jammu youth, and which is what is important.
In addition to making Article 370 ineffective, the Union government has also moved a bill proposing bifurcation of the state of Jammu and Kashmir into two union territories, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh.
Situation for the state of Ladakh. What has been decided is to divide Ladakh from Jammu and Kashmir and to make two different union territories. As you're aware, there is a difference between statehood and union territories. The union territories are not state in the limited purpose of the federation, of the federal system of India, and union territories come straight under the powers of the central government. Under the constitution, there are three schedules, schedule 1, 2 and 3, or list 1, 2 and 3. Certain powers are enjoyed by the central government, certain powers are enjoyed by the state government, and certain are concurrent list, which is enjoyed both by the center and state. In a union territory, the entire powers are enjoyed by the union government.
Jammu and Kashmir will be a union territory with a legislature like Delhi and Puducherry, while Ladakh will have no legislature like Chandigarh. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. Home Minister Amit Shah brought two resolutions and introduced two bills in Rajya Sabha on Monday, announcing the government's proposal to revoke Article 370 and Article 35A of the Constitution, which provided special status to Jammu and Kashmir.
मैं संकल्प प्रस्तुत करता हूं कि ये सदन अनुच्छेद 370(3) के अंतर्गत भारत के राष्ट्रपति द्वारा जारी की जाने वाली निम्नलिखित अधिसूचनाओं की सिफारिश करता है। संविधान के अनुच्छेद 370(3) के अंतर्गत भारत के संविधान के अनुच्छेद 370 के खंड 1 के साथ पठित अनुच्छेद 370 के खंड 3 द्वारा प्रदत्त शक्तियों का प्रयोग करते हुए राष्ट्रपति संसद की सिफारिश पर यह घोषणा करते हैं कि यह दिनांक जिस दिन भारत के राष्ट्रपति द्वारा इस घोषणा पर हस्ताक्षर किए जाएंगे और इसे सरकारी गैजेट में प्रकाशित किया जाएगा, उस दिन से अनुच्छेद 370 के सभी खंड लागू नहीं होंगे, सिवाय खंड 1 के नामक तदनुसार पढ़ा जाएगा। संविधान के समय समय पर संशोधित बिना किसी संशोधन और अपवाद के जम्मू और कश्मीर राज्य पर लागू होंगे। इस बात के सिवा अनुच्छेद 152 अथवा अनुच्छेद 301 में नहीं किसी अपवाद अथवा इस संविधान के किसी अन्य अनुच्छेद अथवा जम्मू और कश्मीर संविधान के किसी अन्य उपबंध अथवा कोई कानूनी दस्तावेज, निर्णय, अध्यादेश, उपनियम, नियम, विनिमय, अधिसूचना, रीति रिवाज अथवा भारत के भूभाग में कानून के प्रवर्तन अथवा कोई अन्य लिखित संधि अथवा समझौते जैसे अनुच्छेद 363 के अंतर्गत परिकल्पित हो, अन्यथा न हो।
The Home Minister also introduced two bills the Jammu and Kashmir Reservation Second Amendment Bill 2019 and the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Bill 2019. Now, the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Bill 2019 proposes to make Jammu and Kashmir a union territory with legislature, while Ladakh will be a union territory without legislature.
जम्मू और कश्मीर की राज्य की विधायी शक्तियां इस सदन में निहित होने एवं राष्ट्रपति द्वारा भारत के संविधान अनुच्छेद 3 के प्रावधान के अंतर्गत जम्मू और कश्मीर पुनर्गठन विधेयक 2019 को सदन के सम्मुख विचार के लिए संबोधित करने पर यह सदन जम्मू और कश्मीर पुनर्गठन विधेयक 2019 को स्वीकार करे और इसको व्यक्त करे। महोदय, मैं प्रस्ताव करता हूं कि जम्मू और कश्मीर पुनर्गठन विधेयक 2019 को पुनर्स्थापित करने की अनुमति दी जाए।
The Jammu and Kashmir Reservation Second Amendment Bill 2019 proposes reservation for economically weaker sections in the state. Shah said the reservation bill will help provide EWS category 10% reservation in educational institutions as well as government jobs. This reservation will be besides the existing reservation for SCs, STs and OBCs.
भारत के संविधान के 103वें संशोधन अधिनियम 2019 के तहत आर्थिक रूप से कमजोर वर्गों के लिए शिक्षण संस्थाओं और सरकारी नौकरियों में 10% आरक्षण देने का प्रस्ताव लेकर मैं आया हूं। यह आरक्षण अनुसूचित जातियां, अनुसूचित जनजातियां, अन्य पिछड़े वर्ग और सीमा के आरक्षण के अलावे ज्यादा 10% आरक्षण आर्थिक रूप से पिछड़े लोगों को दिया जाए। आरक्षण का उपयोग लाभ जम्मू और कश्मीर के आर्थिक रूप से कमजोर वर्ग और उसमें जो टैलेंटेड बच्चे हैं वो बच्चों को देंगे, शिक्षा में भी देंगे, नौकरियों में भी देंगे।
Apart from Article 370, Article 35A also gives special rights to citizens of Jammu and Kashmir. This has also been revoked now. Article 35A allowed the state legislature to define Jammu and Kashmir's permanent residents. The article had been inserted via a constitution order issued by then President Rajendra Prasad on then Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru's advice. Let's now understand this particular aspect of the constitution in detail.
Under Article 35A of the Constitution, permanent residents of Jammu and Kashmir have some special rights. Article 35A gives the Jammu and Kashmir Assembly the right to decide the definition of permanent residents of the state and prevent the people of the other states from buying real estate in Jammu and Kashmir. This has meant that many people who have come from outside and are living in the state for the last several decades have not got any right in the state.
Article 35A was given by a presidential ordinance and not through a constitutional amendment under Article 368 in 1954. The Article 35A defines permanent residents, who will be a permanent resident, and only permanent residents have the power to purchase property there, remain there permanently. No non-permanent resident can go there and buy property or settle there or get aid from there, or the women of J&K, if they marry outside, they don't get, their children do not get the status of a permanent resident if they marry outside. But a man, if he marries outside, his children will continue to get. So this was a discrimination between man and woman.
According to the Jammu and Kashmir Constitution, a permanent resident of the state is defined as a person who was a state subject on 14th May 1954, or who has been residing in the state for a period of 10 years and has lawfully acquired immovable property in the state or migrated from the state after March 1, 1947 and has gone within the present Pakistani border area but has come back with a resettlement permit in the state. Under this, citizens of any other state can neither buy property in Jammu and Kashmir nor can they become permanent resident of the state. Simultaneously, according to the notice issued by then Maharaja Hari Singh of Jammu and Kashmir in 1927 and 1932, the permanent citizen of Jammu and Kashmir can be the same person who was born in Jammu and Kashmir in 1911 or before that and has been living there since then, and also the ones who have legally purchased property in the state. According to Article 35A, a person outside Jammu and Kashmir cannot buy any immovable property in the state. Also, a person from other state cannot become a citizen of Jammu and Kashmir. Article 35A states that if a girl from Jammu and Kashmir marries an outsider, then she will lose all her rights. However, in 2002, the Jammu and Kashmir High Court issued an order saying in such cases, a girl's right will continue for life. Under Article 35A, refugees from Western Pakistan are still deprived of the fundamental rights and identity in the state. People living in Jammu and Kashmir who don't have a permanent residence certificate can vote in the Lok Sabha elections, but can't vote in local bodies and assembly elections.
Under 370, the state of Jammu and Kashmir had been given a special autonomous statehood, which meant that though they are a part of India, but they are not a complete part of India. The laws of India will not be applicable in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. So, therefore, the benefits of the central government will not go to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. The government cannot pass an order without it being ratified by the state assembly for the state of Jammu and Kashmir. The benefits given and the changes made, even by the Honorable Supreme Court, will not be applicable upon the state of Jammu and Kashmir. If a lady from Jammu and Kashmir gets married outside the state of Jammu and Kashmir, she loses her right in the property, etc. So do her children. So this goes contrary to the views of the Honorable Supreme Court. For the state benefits, state largesses, education, a right to purchase property, enjoy property, etc., for government service, etc., are only for the citizens of the state of Jammu and Kashmir.
In fact, Article 35 implies that the state government has the right under this article to give and abstain privileges to people who migrated there during independence and other Indian nationals in Jammu and Kashmir. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The Kashmir dispute is a legacy of the partition of India and Pakistan in 1947. Under the terms by which Britain brought an end to its rule, it was up to the princely rulers to decide whether to accede to India or to Pakistan. The ruler of Jammu and Kashmir delayed signing up to either country. But in October 1947, when the state was invaded by fighters from the tribal areas in northwest Pakistan, its ruler acceded to India. In this report, let's take a re-look at the accession of Jammu and Kashmir to India. Jammu and Kashmir was one among the 565 princely states of India on which the British paramountcy lapsed at the stroke of midnight on 15th August 1947. Under the partition plan provided by the Indian Independence Act, the rulers of these princely states were given an option to join either India or Pakistan. The ruler of Jammu and Kashmir, Maharaja Hari Singh, did not exercise the option immediately. He instead offered a proposal of standstill agreement to both India and Pakistan, pending final decision on the state's accession. Although Pakistan entered into the standstill agreement, it invaded Kashmir from the north with an army of soldiers and tribesmen armed with modern weapons. In the early hours of 24th October 1947, thousands of tribal Pathans swept into Kashmir. The Maharaja of Jammu and Kashmir appealed to India for help. He sent his representative, Sheikh Abdullah, to Delhi to ask for India's help. On 26th October 1947, Maharaja Hari Singh fled from Srinagar and arrived in Jammu, where he signed the instrument of accession of Jammu and Kashmir state. According to the terms of the document, the Indian jurisdiction would extend to external affairs, communications and defence. After the document was signed, Indian troops were airlifted into Jammu and Kashmir and fought alongside the Kashmiris. On 5th March 1948, Maharaja Hari Singh announced the formation of an interim popular government with Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah as the Prime Minister. Subsequently, the Maharaja signed a proclamation making Yuvraj Karan Singh as the regent. In 1951, the State Constituent Assembly was elected. It met for the first time in Srinagar on 31st October 1951. Close on the heels of the State Assembly coming into being, the Delhi Agreement was signed between the Prime Ministers of India and Jammu and Kashmir, giving special position to the state under the Indian constitutional framework. On 6th February 1954, the Jammu and Kashmir Constituent Assembly ratified the accession of the state to the Union of India. The President subsequently issued the Constitution Order under Article 370 of the Constitution, extending the Union Constitution to the state with some exceptions and modifications. The state's own constitution came into force on 26 January 1957, under which the elections to the State Legislative Assembly were held for the first time. This constitution also ratified the state's accession to the Union of India. Section 3 of the Constitution says Jammu and Kashmir is and shall be an integral part of the Union of India. The provision of Article 370 was drafted by Sheikh Abdullah. In the Indian Constitution, it was included as a temporary provision that grants special status to Jammu and Kashmir. All the provisions of the Constitution which are applicable to other states are not applicable to Jammu and Kashmir. Except for defence, foreign affairs, finance and communications, Parliament needs the state government's concurrence for applying all other laws. The state's residents live under a separate set of laws, including those related to citizenship and ownership of property. Due to the special provisions attached to it, Article 370 has been a subject of debate for several years. Those against it argue that it hampers the integration process of Jammu and Kashmir with the rest of the country. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. So that's it from us today in depth. We'll be back same time tomorrow with a focus on some other subject. You can also watch our program online on YouTube and send us your valuable feedback and suggestions about our program. Thank you for your time.